As a high school counselor, I want to share a story that haunts me to this day, a moment when my gut instinct screamed that immediate action was necessary, not just for one student, but for an entire state's worth of teenagers. It was late October, and I noticed an alarming pattern in my students' mental health reports. The numbers weren't just statistics anymore, they were telling a story that made my blood run cold. More and more students were reporting feelings of intense academic pressure, social isolation, and anxiety that went far beyond typical teenage stress. What really caught my attention was Sarah, a brilliant junior who went from being class president to barely showing up at school. Her situation wasn't unique. I was seeing the same signs in hundreds of students across different schools in our district. That's when I realized this wasn't just a local issue. It was a systemic problem that was silently spreading across our state. I remember sitting in my office one evening, looking at the data, and feeling this overwhelming sense of urgency. If we didn't address this now, we weren't just looking at a temporary crisis. We were watching the early signs of what could become a generational mental health epidemic. I reached out to other counselors, and their experiences confirmed my fears. We compiled our findings and presented them to the State Board of Education. The statistics were shocking. A 70% increase in anxiety-related incidents, a 50% rise in academic stress reports, and a concerning drop in student engagement across the board. Looking back, that decision to act immediately, to raise the alarm when we did, led to the implementation of the state's first comprehensive student mental health program. We managed to secure funding for additional counselors, introduce mental health awareness curriculum, and establish support systems that weren't there before. Sometimes the biggest changes come from recognizing those critical moments when waiting isn't an option. As counselors, we're not just working with individual students, we're shaping the future of education and mental health support in our communities. That experience taught me that when your professional instinct tells you something's wrong, acting swiftly isn't just an option, it's a responsibility. Today, our state student mental health program is a model for others, but I often think about what might have happened if we'd waited even a few months longer to act. Sometimes the most important moments in our careers are those when we choose to speak up, even when it means causing a stir, because the cost of silence is simply too high.